Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Catalyst Corner. We have a fantastic show for you today. This is an Alpharidge special, mainly because Frank is absolutely whipping all the other Custo companies' rear ends. For the main part, because they are being transparent. They're having shareholder meetings, keeping their shareholders up to date on what's happening with their tickers. SSM Monopoly, Krisa Management, you could take some notes on these guys because your tickers are getting hammered right now because you're not putting out any information for all of us shareholders. Does that mean I think Alpharidge mergers are going to be way better than SSM monopolies? Not necessarily. I still think FBCD, IFAN, NSPT, I think all of those tickers are going to fly at some point when news comes out. But Alpharidge is being way more transparent. Their tickers are flying and doing super well. So we're going to be covering 5 of those tickers today. And I have one extra ticker I'm going to cover at the end of this video that's a dub play that I covered last week. It's still going off a little bit. It's got news possibly coming out this week, so you want to stick around for that ticker as well. And if you enjoy this video, please hit that subscribe button. And if you love to slap the ass, slap that like button below. But as always, if you're a market dumping little, then you can hit that dislike button. Don't do that. Let's get into the show. Here's a great chart that was put together by @Mountain Ventures. Give him a follow. He has put together something he's called Frank's Alpharidge Opportunity Zone Structure. Organizational chart is based upon most recent filings, preferred shares, and controlled interest. NIHK and GMPW via Alpharidge have significant and controlling interest in almost everything. Common themes in all of Frank's Custo plays: good share structure, no toxic dilution, no convertible notes, share cancellations, no reverse splits, and merger candidates in growth markets. DNRG also had some great news come out last week, so I expect it to run this week. But what we're covering today, we're just going to go in order. This will be a 2-part series. We're going to talk about VNTH, which is has a reverse merger nano mobile share reduction. We're also going to talk about JPEX. It has been absolutely flying. Pink current very soon, then its reverse merger. ILST becoming highly popular. Reverse merger to be announced after JPEX. OCLG, most popular Custo for reverse merger. Share cancellations coming. And all this information comes from these shareholder meetings that they have and let people know. And they said OCLG was the most popular one. And the last one we'll cover is CIVX, no debt or share cancellation required. And the first ticker we're going to discuss today is VNTH. It is currently sitting at 0093. It was down 8% on Friday. A lot of things sold off on Thursday and Friday because of the Donald Trump runs in FUN and in DWAC. Hopefully those things will have died down and all of that money that people made will fly back into the OTC. But VNTH is becoming a highly popular ticker for people to jump into. It currently has a market cap of 30 million. It has 100 billion authorized shares. There are only 3 billion outstanding shares, however, and 2.9 billion unrestricted, and it is currently pink current. Let's take a look at its chart. Here's the chart for VNTH. I've drawn some support and resistance lines. We do have a resistance here at 1 cent. That's a psychological resistance. There's always resistance at 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents, etc. You can see how many times this thing has bounced off of this 1 cent resistance. But as you can also see, we've got this support at this high of dub 86. And look how many times, once again, is also bounced off of that support. That's why technical analysis is so important, because if you're watching this and you see how many times this thing bounces, dub 87 is your buy zone, okay? Because you're risking very little. If it drops, you can get out. You've lost very little. If you get in here and it drops, you're waiting all the way to this next support to see if it holds. So always try to buy on these support lines. We also have this support that was broken, and you can see we can continue to trade within this horizontal channel. In my opinion, we're now going to come up through this new support line here. It broke, but it popped back up. We're getting to a point where it's going to have to make a decision. Just like all of these other Custo plays, the decision is going to go up. There's no question in my mind. It's just depending on what your entry is. If I'm trying to get into this on Monday, I'm looking for a dip anywhere in below 9. You're pretty safe with your risk. And if this thing breaks the 1, just like everything else, the shorts have to cover. This thing is going to then hit 1.1 in no time. Keep your eye on VNTH. The next play we will look at is JPEX. It is currently sitting at 0.041 cents. It is pink limited, currently waiting on that pink current. This is a fan favorite of the Alpharidge and Frank Custo plays. It has been absolutely flying for the past 3 weeks and still holding strong even through the end of the week when everything else fell down. It has a market cap of 57 million, which is not a high market cap for the 4-cent stock. It has 1.5 billion authorized shares, 1.4 outstanding, and only 1.2 unrestricted. Let's take a look at this chart. Here's the chart for JPEX. This thing back in September was sitting at dub 8 and has it gone on an absolute ripper, sitting up here at 4.1 cents currently. We do have this resistance line that it seems to be bouncing off of. We also have this support line that I'm trying to draw, but this thing has just went on a rocket ride, so it's very hard to draw these support and resistance lines. I did consider this 4-cent mark psychological support. So as you can see, we continue to bounce off of that. It's having a hard time breaking out of this 4.2 range. I feel like if we can break above that 4.2 range, then we're going to be up here trading in this upward channel still. I feel like this is a very strong move, especially with this large green hammer that JPEX put in on Friday. So this is one to keep on your watch list. In my opinion, this 3.92, this 4-cent range is an optimal place to get in because you're risking the break of that support, but you're also looking to gain this huge momentum. If this thing can break through this 4.3, it's going to absolutely fly. So you can keep JPEX on your radar. My entry, I can't buy on Schwab, and I know you can call in, but that's a pain in my rear, and I'm not going to do that. But if this thing hits pink current, it doesn't matter what technical analysis you have, it's going to fly. So this thing's waiting on pink, but I'm looking at the 4-cent range for a good opportunity to buy in. ILST, it's been holding very strong as well towards the end of the week. It did close down only 1% on Friday. It is having a hard time breaking that mental 2-cent resistance. We will talk about that in just a moment. It is currently pink current. It does have a $38 million market cap, so comparably very close to JPEX, has 3 billion authorized shares, 1.9 outstanding, and 1.6 held at the DTC, 1.7 unrestricted. Let's jump in and take a look at its chart. Here's the chart for ILST. Once again, another very popular ticker. It is once again having this issue at the 2-cent psychological range. They're all going to do that. It did bump up here and have an issue at 1.72. Did fall back down once again to this support line, and we have then absolutely went on another run, broke through the 1.72, and now 2 days in a row we've been battling at the 2-cent mark. Worst case scenario, we fall back down here to this new support, which is 1.72 that was resistance. That's your optimal buy-in. Whether it gets there or not, it's another story. We could open up on Monday, and this thing could just absolutely rip through the 2-cent range, and then you also then become the 2-cent range as support. So you will have to watch this and determine what your risk is. This thing also, like JPEX, formed pretty much a green hammer. So that is a very bullish sign for ILST. This is supposedly the merger that's going to be announced after JPEX. So I expect this to be the second most popular ticker for most people that are in JPEX currently. So ILST is one to keep on your watch list. And those are the areas I'd be looking to buy in. I'd be looking for the breakout of 2, which would be a good place to purchase, or I'd be looking for a pullback here to the 1.72, 1.75 range. The next ticker, OCLG. I like this share structure a lot. It is sitting at 1.9 cents. It is also pink current. The share structure is only 28 million market cap, 1.6 billion authorized, 1.5 outstanding, 1.3 unrestricted. I think the share structure is one of the reasons it is one of the most sought after of the Alpharidge plays. When Alpharidge was giving its update saying that a lot of people were wanting this ticker. So this one I think is going to run pretty hard. I'm going to be showing you where I'm going to try to get into this thing personally in the chart. So let's take a look at the chart real quick. OCLG, here's the chart for it. Is having the same exact issue ILST was having. It is having a terrible time breaking this 2-cent range. But as you can see, starting back here in September, this thing also went on an absolute ripper, over 100%. Did have a huge pullback when a lot of other tickers had pullbacks as well. And now we were trading in these channels. I do have 2 channels drawn here, and I'll try to explain why that is. We have this channel that I felt like we were trading in, and then on this day, we absolutely blew through that. And then now, in my opinion, we are now in this new channel. This thing, in my opinion, is pretty much sitting at a buy zone to me. I feel like if you can get in right here at the 1.89, the 1.9, it could have a pullback back to here, which is around the 1.75, 1.8. That would be even more optimal if it pulls back. So you'll have to determine your risk tolerance. The thing on these plays, these are the Alpharidge Custo plays, they are going to go up. So it just depends on when you want to go in, get into the stock. They are going to go up, in my opinion. If this thing can break the 2-cent range and hold that support, this thing's going to absolutely fly, just like JPEX and the rest of them are. So keep your eye on OCLG. I feel like this is going to be one of the better mergers because of what they put out, that this is one that a lot of companies are looking at. I like the share structure myself. I'm going to be looking to get in on Monday personally. I'm going to be looking in this high 1.8 ranges. I'm not sure it's going to get there. It did pull back into the 1.7s on Friday, so you might can get a dip and this thing absolutely rip. But I'm also looking for the 2-cent break Monday or Tuesday this week. Keep OCLG on your watch list. Our last Alpharidge ticker is going to be CIVX. It is currently sitting at 1.22 cents. It was not even down an entire percent. So you can see, even though the market for a whole was going down on Thursday and Friday, these Alpharidge plays were holding very strong. And JPEX even ended up green. So we'll take a look. It has a $24 million market cap. Once again, a fantastic market cap for a 1.2 cent stock. 1.9 billion authorized shares. There's 1.9 outstanding, and we do not have this available currently, but it says the float is 1.9 billion. Let's jump into the chart. The last Alpharidge ticker is CIVX. I like this one a lot because it is one of the cheapest ones we've looked at so far. The other four we will look at later in the week are all even cheaper than this in the dubs. But the reason I like this, once again, is at 1.2 cents. It is going to hit the 2-cent mark, just like ILST and just like OCLG. This one will hit the 2-cent mark. Just depends on how patient you are. This one is has a hard time for me to draw technical support because we had this huge green candle all the way up here to 1.36. And then the next day we had this huge red bar all the way back down here to 1. But the 1-cent mark, psychological resistance and psychological support, look at this huge bounce. And so that hammer is very bullish in my opinion. I did draw this line because I do feel like if we do drop again, we're not going to drop below this 1.1 cent mark in my opinion. I feel like that's a safe entry. I don't think you're going to get a 1-cent entry again. If you do, load the boat because you're going to make a lot of money off of this ticker. This thing is trying to break this upward resistance right here. I feel like it will probably just trade in this channel. We will have to see what happens this week in the market. The past 2 weeks have been very slow, low volume, especially with the runners we had in the low cap stocks. So if that doesn't happen this week and all that money flows back into the OTC, this thing could be seeing 2 cents quicker than I could even imagine. So keep your eye on CIVX. Guys, the last ticker we have for you today is ICTY. I covered this on Thursday. It was sitting at dub 2.4. It closed on Friday, dub 2.7, up 12.5%. It actually did hit dub 3, so it was at one point up 25% on the day before it had a pullback. This thing has a market cap of 23 million, 10 billion authorized, 8.5 outstanding, and only 6.8 unrestricted. This thing has been very strong over the past week. It seems there's a lot of people loading this thing from the bottom. We're sitting around the dub 1.6 mark, and it has continued to run. The highs of this thing are dub 6.4 or 6.2, I do believe. So I think we can test that over the next month or two. Supposedly there is some possible news coming out, as I covered in the last video with Wild Rhinos DD. There could be a merger candidate coming out. We will have to wait and see. I'm hoping we see news this week, and if we do, this thing could blow through the 3s, and we could be sitting at dub 4 in no time. So I'm in heavy ICTY. I know it's catching a lot of eyes on Twitter, so let's take a look at its chart. The last ticker I have for you today is ICTY. I covered this on Thursday, sitting at dub 2.4. We closed on Friday at dub 2.7. You can see in the chart it did run to dub 3, so it was up at 25% at one point before it pulled back just a little bit. I do feel like this dub 2.4 is the support. If you can get in at dub 2.4, dub 2.5, that's a fantastic entry in my opinion. It has hit the dub 3 twice, 2 days in a row. So it is having a hard time with that psychological resistance. If it breaks the dub 3s, we're seeing dub 4s in a hurry, and that's just my opinion. We are trading in this upward channel, but once again, once this thing took off, it literally took off. This thing was sitting at dub 16 just last week, and over the past few days, this thing absolutely went on a ripper. I don't think it's going to stop. If we get news from the CEO or the company, or if we find out something about a merger possibly happening, ICTY could absolutely rip. I think the high is dub 6.2. And so I feel like we can see that again. There are very few pink current dub 2 plays out there currently. A lot of money is going to be flying into these very low dub plays, and all of these are going to be running to the 1 cent mark eventually if you have the patience. I'm going in heavy ICTY. I feel like this could be a really big play. Take a look at it and see what you think. Keep ICTY on your watch list. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. And once again, for all you OG subscribers out there, let me know in the comments what your high school mascot is. I want to know who the OGs are out there watching this channel for me. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And until next time, we'll see you on the next video.